Apparently, Colombian Latinas are killing lonely men for profit.
Bro, software developer from Atlanta wakes up alone in a hotel room, 1,975 miles from home. The room is just completely trashed and he has no memory of the night before. Scrambling for a phone that is no longer there, he notices empty bottles on the nightstand, sheets pulled off the bed, and panic starts to set in. He swipes
It's over for blank face cells. It's over.
eyes dart across the room looking around, the more painful his headache becomes. This wasn't a normal hangover. There's a metal taste in his mouth and his stomach is starting to cramp. Marcus
Oh shit. That's spooky. The first thing you'd assume was your liver has been taken out.
can hardly think straight and just wants to go home. But at least my passport is still secure, he thinks.
Sucks because Latinas are hot. Exactly.
But then he sees it. The door of the hotel safe wide open and empty. Anxiety turns to dread. They took everything. But just a few days ago, everything was fine. So what had happened? His memory was blank besides the faintest hint of perfume and cigarette smoke. He closed his eyes and could hear the echo of clicking high heels on a marble floor, a woman's voice speaking rapid Spanish down the phone. And then from that, a word sounded through the pain in his head. It was a name, Camila.
Brutal. I've heard this is pretty common in Latin American countries. They specifically go after guys geomaxing / being passport bros. It's kind of like a, it's like a way to like harvest money just by essentially drugging them and taking their belongings.
A week ago, Marcus sat in his apartment staring at his phone in total silence. He'd been messaging an American woman for 2 weeks. It felt like real conversations, not just small talk. She'd actually engaged with his story, she asked about his work, and seemed genuinely interested in him. For the first time in months, he felt like maybe he was getting somewhere. Like maybe he'd finally broken through that invisible wall that seemed to exist between him and the opposite gender. After a couple of beers, he asked. A simple dinner invitation, nothing pushy. She read this message, and then there was no reply. A typical thing for him. Typical. He just had that feeling again that he couldn't shake. This woman was
Yeah, well, maybe he needs to get a face.
Another in a sequence of rejection. His heart grew colder and his perspective dimmer and darker. Late that night, he found himself in a familiar territory. He'd been searching Medellin for months, partly because he'd heard good things from people he knew.
Bro, you're genuinely aren't good looking. You're 31 and I mugged you at 17. Okay, that's cool. Good for you. Are you expecting me to like argue with you? Like, are you expecting me to be like, no, I mug you? Ah, no, cool. Like, if you do look better than me, great.
But also because of the content that had been piped into his feed. Non-stop videos of these guys filming themselves on GoPros, partying with beautiful women in exotic places, where you could just be with a beautiful, wholesome woman, drinking cheap beers on an exotic
Wholesome
beach, speaking some broken Spanish, and really just enjoying life. And all it seemed to take was a plane flight. Marcus understood that he was in a vulnerable...
God, I remember I had a debate with a dating coach, passport bro, influencer called Redbeard Rants. And he was like, I guess famous for going to like Colombia and like, he was like a Colombia enjoyer. I wonder if he had to like deal with any of this shit. I think I said something in that debate that if you're dating someone way above your looks level, you're kind of playing with fire. And yeah, if we're going off this title, why Colombian Latinas are killing lonely men for profit? I mean, yeah, that's playing with fire, I suppose.
State, but he just couldn't stop himself. How could you? How could you even resist the temptation of this? He'd started off just watching simple dating content or discussions on how romance in the Western world had changed. But after getting recommended content showing how much different dating abroad was and the seemingly infinite upside you get.
Man. Passport bros. They think they're so clever. They think they've cracked the system, They think they've figured out how to, game the system by dating someone way above their looks level, simply because they are from America and this person's from a second world or third world country. You always have to pay your dues, right? You always have to pay your dues eventually.
Yet as a young American bachelor with some cash, he grew more and more desperate, and now he just needed one little push. Maybe it was that last chat he had with the woman, or perhaps the powerful influences telling him how Western women take everything from men and give nothing back. He found his thoughts changing. Earlier that very same day, he found himself snapping at another bland girl, spilling coffee in his arm, the same as all the rest.
What?
Useless now to get him. He didn't know what was happening to his mind, but he felt profanities echoing around it in women's presence. Sinking another drink, his finger hovered over the confirm button for his flight, and he clicked. In just a few
I
hours,
gotta say, I've never been to a Latin American country. I've heard it's like a popular tourist destination, a popular geomaxing location. But truth be told, I'm a Asian enjoyer, right? Like I like Asian countries. I like the quality of life. I like the people there. I find the women attractive. I like Asian girls, so it kind of makes sense. I would be too much of a little coward to go to Colombia. Like, man, I don't want to deal with the horror show that's to come in this video. I don't want to deal with cartels just for a big booty Latina. But I understand why some men might want to take that risk. I get it. I get it.
he lands in Medellin. The heat slaps him in the face, and he knows he's somewhere completely different. And he wasn't the only one.
High risk, high reward. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
There are about 8 to 9 single men also with him from America in queue near him, all likely going for the same reason. But he did know that over 1 million people visit this popular Colombian city every year. It's a tourist hotspot. He'd read about the world-class museums, the vibrant nightlife, and the stunning architecture. The weather was perfect all.
Oh, give me a break. People don't geomax for the stunning architecture. Who gives a fuck about the architecture? They're going there for big booty Latinas. Let's not kid ourselves here. Every bald man in his mid-30s on a flight to Colombia by himself is there for one thing only. Let's not kid ourselves, okay?
All year round, the food's exceptional, there's amazing coffee, and everything costs a
Oh,
fraction
the coffee. Yes, yes. That's why bald men in their 40s are going to Colombia for the coffee.
of what you'd pay back home. But if we're being real, that wasn't the top of his mind right now. Marcus had more romantic plans. Romance tourism to cities like Medellin
I like the air.
is a movement that spans continents and crosses borders. It's an entire industry of people foregoing relationships at home to take on something bolder and more fruitful.
What is wrong with my chat today? Is it because it's like Saturday and I guess people are kind of drunk or like they're coming back from drinking? Like, why is chat so fucking weird today? Asking to see my hairline? I'll give you a hairline shot if you send a super chat.
Broad. Some actively embrace terms like passport bros, pushed by influencers with massive followings who've turned this lifestyle into a business. The R Passport Pro subreddit has grown to over 80,000 members in just a few years, creating an international network where countries are ranked on maps and experiences shared for how great they are for men like Marcus. While Colombia has dominated the headline,
Dude, I know one of these guys. Yeah, I debated Redbeard rants. That was a interesting video. Like, if you want to see, you know, a clash of ideas of looks maxing versus of passport broing, you can go watch that debate on my channel. It's actually quite an interesting conversation.
a few countries rank at the top of the best locations for passport bros, from Thailand to Vietnam to the Philippines and Brazil and even Eastern Europe. Some men actually go to this community and showcase their success to get advice or actually provide some value to other men looking to do the same thing, but not everyone is lucky. And then there's the opportunists, making a commodity out of hundreds of people like Marcus and turning romance tourism into an industry that serves them, and not the vulnerable men.
Romance tourism. Can we just, like, call it for what it is? Can we just call it sex tourism? That's what it is. Romance tourism. Like, do we have to nerf the language so much?
they purport to care about. What Marcus didn't realize was that his arrival was predictable and hadn't gone unnoticed by those who'd learned to profit from young, vulnerable men. The digital pipeline that had delivered him
AW, I apologize for my earlier comments, but you inspired me to ascend from low tier normie to high tier normie with surgery, of course. Well, congratulations. Just chill out, chill out.
here was just one side of an equation he didn't yet understand. But the course was set. One of the first things he did when he gets to Medellin was download Tinder. And suddenly like that, he was starting to get all these matches. Matches with women he could never get back at home. And this is...
That's true. That's true. I would say like, if I was, so I'm a Bangkok enjoyer. I've been to Bangkok. I would say if we're comparing like the total amount of matches that I would get in Bangkok compared to London, it's a big difference. I would say it's like 7x. It's like 7x. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. I'm not quite sure like what it would be if I went to Colombia or a Latin American country. It's not really my bag. I don't really have a frame of reference for it, but I would imagine it's going to be quite a bit higher than London as well.
This is when he matched with a beautiful looking woman named Camila on Tinder, and she suggested meeting at Hotel Dan Carlton. She mentioned this had the best view in El Poblado, the main place for expats in Medellin, adding, "You'll love it." But unbeknownst to Marcus, that one simple message would change everything. Camila watched Marcus's face light up when he saw her. He was nervous and couldn't believe how attractive she was. But for Camila, this was just another tourist, another rooftop bar, and another performance.
Ooh. Another rooftop bar. This is why you don't take girls to rooftop bars. You know, you take her to Starbucks, okay? Listen, I'm not paying your week's salary on a rooftop bar and a restaurant. No, we're going to fucking Starbucks, okay?
She was just 24, but she'd been doing this for at least 2 years now. She studied nursing during the day.
AP could have saved his organs. Yeah, like whatever organs this man's going to lose. Looks maxing and dating within your looks range would have saved them.
That part was always true when she told them, but in the evening she worked a different kind of shift. She wasn't necessarily a prostitute, at least not exactly. She told herself that distinction mattered. She was more like a tour guide. Camila put Marcus at
a tour guide that you bang and take on expensive dates. It's so weird how so many people just can't say what they're thinking and what they're doing. It's like there's so much like deception in the world, right? People just can't just be honest with what they're about and what they do. There's just so much like secrecy in the world. It's all so tiring. It's all so tiresome.
These told him how excited she was to show him her city, and it wasn't entirely fake. He seemed kind, courteous, genuinely interested in what she had to say, and after a few drinks, she could see his confidence returning. In another life, maybe this could have all been real, but tonight was different for Camila. She never lets those thoughts get to her for too long, as she's been discussing a new technique with her friends the night before, something industrially efficient. Her friend Isabella had been using this for months. She'd shown Camila the small vial of white powder, explaining how just a tiny amount could render a man completely compliant. With that, you can kill 10 people, but it's better in powder form. You rub up.
Wow, this escalated quickly. Jesus. We've went from rooftop bars and oh, I'm a tour guide, and now we're talking about killing 10 men with some powder. What the fuck? Wow, this went from 0 to 100 real quick.
But on their chest, Isabella explained. The substance came from the bolachero tree, drunken binge, that grew wild throughout Colombia. It produces beautiful white bell-shaped flowers that hang like lamps. In the West, it's better known as datura or the angel's trumpet. But Camila knew it by a street name, Devil's Breath. Most call it
I'm sorry. So, hold on. I think I missed something. So, there's this flower, this like white flower that just like hangs down. You crush it up into a powder, you rub it on some bald man's chest, and what, he dies? He falls unconscious? Like, what the fuck? So you don't even need to like eat it. You just come in contact with it and your body just short circuits. That's fucking diabolical.
from the bolachero tree, drunken binge that grew wild throughout Colombia. It produces beautiful white bell-shaped flowers that hang like lamps. In the West, it's better known as datura or the angel's trumpet, but Camila knew it by its street name, devil's breath. Most call it scopolamine. It's tasteless, odorless, and you can hide it on a business card and just blow it in someone's face.
What the fuck? This is diabolical. Is this power that this little like stupid white plant, this white stupid flower has this much power?
And the results of this can be described as zombification. Within minutes, victims enter a state of zombie-like compliance. They'll hand over their valuables willingly, follow instructions without question, even with...
So it turns you into an NPC?
Drawing their money from ATMs with their captors standing right beside them. 50 milligrams of it can kill you, but deaths are pretty rare. Victims usually just stay compliant longer. Some are...
Well, I assume these whores just trying to like steal from men, that they don't want to use a dose that's just gonna kill a guy. Just enough to like knock him out, take his money, take his watch, phone, whatever, right? But even so, like the fact that you could just like up the dose of some stupid fucking ground up plant that you smear in someone's face and they just die from that. Oh my god. And it looks like it would be one thing if this flower looked scary, like if it was like a black widow spider, like it was like black petals with like a red inside. But no, it's just a mundane looking white flower. Like you'd walk past this and you wouldn't even like think about it.
Reports still feeling the effects of the high for 15 days.
Simp plant? Yeah, exactly.
17 días viajando con otro parcero. Mi parcero se quedó en el viaje. El man hoy en día anda así en la calle.
So he got hit with it and he was high for 17 days. Jesus.
Victims do eventually wake up, sometimes 24 hours later. They remember absolutely nothing. It literally blocks the neurotransmitters in the brain responsible for recording memory. The US State Department reports unofficial estimates of 50,000 scopolamine incidences per year in Colombia, more than 130.
So this plant is used in 50,000 crimes per year. Jesus. This stupid fucking white flower. Over for Geomax cells? Yeah, I mean, holy shit.
Every single day. According to the National Police, a scopolamine attack occurs every 10 hours in Bogota, with police...
God damn it. Oh my god.
Admitting the vast majority of incidences are men poisoned by women from small street gangs called micro cartels. Camila studied markets across the...
Are the big booty Latinas worth it? You know, are you gonna risk it all? Are you gonna risk this bullshit?
Table as he talked about his work, his hopes for the trip, but he just had no idea what was coming, or that there was an entire industry preying on people like...
Glad I'm Colombian. So, mugging playlists. You're Colombian, yeah. So, I want to ask you a question. Like, how common is this, like, plant, right? Like, because scopolamine, that's what it's called. Like, is this, like, something that is in the wild there? Or is it, like, a rare and has to be, like, grown, like, with a purpose? Or, like, is this something you just come across? Extremely common. My mum was talking about it last week. That shit is common everywhere. Bro, man, I can't believe I'm getting scared of a flower.
At this point, yes. She felt glimpses
Literally mugged by a flower.
of something else, pity, maybe even guilt, but once again, she knew how to dull those doubts. After all, she hadn't planned for her life to turn out this way. And Marcus had come here looking for exactly this, right? Two different parts at the same table.
I got one in my yard. What is going on? Why have I never heard of this?
and she wasn't really caring about what he was saying, it was just time to move. So she excused herself to the bathroom, dipped the end of a cigarette into the powder, then returned with a smile. When I step outside for some air, 15 minutes passed and she watched the change happen exactly as Isabella had described. Marcus looked up at her, confused for half a second, then with that glazed expression she'd been told to expect. "Let's go somewhere quiet," she said. He nodded like a child and just followed her. Now by this point, Marcus clearly found himself in an extremely dangerous position.
Oh no, he got NPC'd.
Cab. He was sucked in, and you could even say lured in by a powerful travel industry built around dating abroad. But behind the soft lighting, the palm trees, and the smiling local women and influencer videos is a huge growing business. One that turns male loneliness into views, subscriptions, and paid coaching funnels. Romance tourism is always been popular, but love is one of the most easily corrupted emotions, one of the main things you can manipulate men with, and it's manifested itself as an industry of mixed and often dark intent. Women abroad like Camila are depicted as respectful to men in a way that those at home aren't. They're receptive, but some just depict them as just easy to pick up. Some have actually been accused of using the same women in their videos or paying them to join as a part of their marketing game. The same
God, like, I don't know if that applies to the guy I debated, Red Beard Rants, but man, it sure sounds similar. It sounds very similar.
Influencers who claim women in other countries respect men more are often the same ones who are seen with multiple women on each arm. They're picking up women in the street, showing how easy it is to hook up. Most of all, they just make it look so effortless. If you have a Western passport, you'll get the hottest women.
And I gotta imagine, if you're in this industry, like, you're totally incentivized to just pay some actress. You just give her like, I don't know, like $10 to hang out with you for the day and just film a bunch of content. I can totally imagine them doing that. A lot of like these dating coaches or people in that sphere of like content, the thing you have to, really think about is you can so easily just pay a woman to like go along with one of these cold approaches and film it like, you just met this girl and like, you're now dating and she's all into you. Like, it's so easy to like pay for that. It's so easy.
You just stop them in the street, chat to them, and that's all you need to do. Even just doing this in English, not speaking their native language. Just be confident and it will all fall into place. Or and maybe pick up their course for $1,000 a month just to be sure you get all of their tips.
Oh man.
The dangers of this just can't be ignored.
This is the guy I debated a while back. He is this guy. Like, the guy, like, man. See this? 6 tips if you want to stop dating mid-checks. Cold approach on Instagram. Dating coach admits he is a fraud. Exposed. You see what I mean? Isn't this like the guy Moon is describing, this YouTuber? Oh yeah.
Get out. Escape. SOS, abandoned ship. It is done. You are cooked. Unless you are in the top 1% of man, a 6'5" gorgeous millionaire.
Okay. We don't need
Every time I see an angry hater in the comments who's super irritated seeing a very mid guy like me getting with so many stunningly beautiful women is, I know bro has never got his passport and dated outside the US. That's why all the comments go, he's just paying all these girls. He's paying all these girls. He's paying all these girls. I get it. From your reality, it doesn't make sense. Get your passport. You'll understand.
Man.
Many warn followers to take a picture of a girl's ID before bringing them home. Some joke about getting scoped, drugged, and robbed like it was just part of the adventure. For some, it's part of the thrill. You'd think people like Camila would be more aware of
Wasn't that the guy wanted by Colombian authorities? Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All I know is that like that's the type of content he makes, where he's picking up chicks in Latin American countries and making it look so easy.
Stories than Marcus, but the influencers tell these stories as if they were some funny holiday event.
There's not a doubt about it. Colombian women are the most beautiful women in the world, but they're also the most dangerous. You never know when they might slip in your drink. You never know. You might wake up without your phone, your iPad, your credit card's missing.
See, that doesn't sound good to me. This doesn't sound like an enjoyable lifestyle. Call me crazy. Call me crazy, but like I don't want to worry about that. Wouldn't life be easier if you look smacks and become high tier normie or maybe even Chad Light, and then you can date like good looking women, and you don't have to like worry about this. You don't have to worry about some weird financial incentive or compensating for your looks. You can kind of just, you can be at parity with the woman you're dating. Like, wouldn't that be a more relaxed lifestyle
5,000
rather than trying to like game the system all the time?
in cash.
You go scoping me.
I got scoped here.
What happened?
2 years ago. That's the coolest part.
They call it getting scoped. You got scoped, bro. Oh man, I lost my wallet. I got my kidney stolen. Oh shucks, I got scoped. Oof. Better watch out next time, or I lose my other kidney. Jesus, what kind of hell is this?
I don't know what happened. I woke up.
They're laughing like this is like, oh, this is funny. This is like slipping over a banana peel. Whoopsie! I just got all my my valuables stolen by some whore. Jesus. I don't wanna be in this group. I don't wanna be with these fucking freaks. I don't wanna be in this friend group.
Without your phone, your iPad, your credit card's missing, $5,000 in cash.
You go scoping me.
I got scoped here.
What happened?
2 years ago.
Got scoped, bro.
That's the coolest part. I don't know what happened. I woke up.
Oh, that's so funny,
I
bro.
woke up without my shit.
The darkest
scoped.
truth is some romance tourists like Marcus never actually come home. People in Marcus's position, following the advice of men who apparently care about their love lives, have suffered horrible endings while in their
What friend group would you want to be in? Not that one. Not that. I don't want to be around those freaks. Just normal people that can just, you can just talk. You can just talk normally. And you don't have to be weird. That's the type of friends that I like.
pursuit of respectful women. Take the tragic story of Paul Nguyen, a 27-year-old logistics consultant.
Thirsty ninjas have no sense of risk. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're like, their cost-benefit analysis, they just disregard all the possible costs and only look at the benefits they can get.
Consultant from California.
A what? A what? A what from California?
The pursuit of respectful women. Take the tragic story of Paul Nguyen, a 27-year-old logistics consultant from California who didn't return to his Airbnb after going on a Tinder date in 2022.
He didn't return. Uh-oh.
Snapchat photo of his date, a slim brown.
The language barrier is unreal. Yeah, it is unreal. It is unreal for this woman to be attracted to you sincerely. It is kind of strange, don't you think?
Brown-haired woman in a white jacket. The next morning, he didn't return to the Airbnb and his friends raised an alarm. It turned out that his credit card was used multiple times in odd late-night transactions. 12 hours later, his body was then discovered behind a trash bin 5 miles away from the bar.
The family.
Why'd they kill him? Why'd she kill him? Well, I don't know if it's she or like the gang or whatever, but why would you escalate this to a murder charge? Wouldn't you just like take the guy's money and just tell him to fuck off? Like why did they kill him?
Family of a young man from Orange County is struggling with their grief
Brutal?
and
Yeah,
at the
it is
same time
brutal.
trying to find out how and why he was killed while on vacation in Colombia.
Then there was Tao Xiong, a 50-year-old Minnesota
Why'd they kill him?
comedian who called his family in December 2023 saying he needed $2,000 because he'd been kidnapped. The family then sent the money through PayPal immediately, but it wasn't enough. The next morning, his body was found at the bottom of a ravine near.
Jesus. So the family paid the ransom to get this kidnapped guy back, and they just killed him anyway after getting the money. Damn, these are some grimy women. Jesus. I'm good. I don't want to go Colombia. I'm okay. I'm alright.
The Robledo district. He'd been tied, tortured, stabbed, and then thrown 200.
What the fuck? Why? Why is everything so extreme?
160 feet down.
They didn't just but Jesus. They didn't just like shoot him in the back of the head. No, they did like a Mortal Kombat fatality on this guy. Oh my god.
A cliff. Other survivors described the same pattern. A 28-year-old businessman, also a victim of scopolamine in Colombia, told reporters, quote, "I matched with a girl on Tinder. Just another girl, I thought. Just another date. She took my..."
This is why you don't cheat the system, okay? Date within your looks range, okay? If you're a 5, date between a 4 and a 6. If you're a 7, date between a 6 and an 8. If you want to date better looking girls, you better improve the way you look. That's how you minimize a lot of this bullshit. A lot of this weird predatory compensating for looks, all this like weird shit that is just gonna make your life hell.
My iPad, my phone, my wallet, my credit cards, my ID, everything but my laptop. And if you're shocked by these two men dying in the pursuit of pleasure, it's more common than you might think. And this issue may lay a lot closer to home than imagined. Porn addiction will mentally kill.
These are short ethnics, dude. They have to date ones in the West, lol. Again, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know how tall they are. And I don't think the limiting factor is their race. Like, they can improve and become an Asian Chad, maybe, like if they have like a good idea of plastic surgery and so on and so on. But like, even so, like, how about just, you don't have to date the 9 out of 10 big booty Colombian women. Maybe she isn't for you. Maybe she isn't for those guys. Okay? Let's have a bit of, we don't have to be so fucking greedy, do we?
Kill you long before you reach the same fate as these guys. Quitter is on a mission to take over the industry, help men regain control of their lives, and finally break free from this evil habit. With their in-app...
Oh, is this the sponsor?
28-day challenge, 500,000 men have already seen incredible changes in their lives, with increased discipline, improvement in ED, and confidence in themselves and in talking to women. Quitting...
What do you guys think? I'm kind of curious what this, what this community thinks of online porn. Like, do you think it's this terrible thing that is just gonna, make your life worse, like people in the red pill think, or do you think it's overblown?
Porn doesn't have to be difficult, and with Quitter's cutting-edge app, 28 days is all it takes to enjoy the physical and mental benefits. Now you might be thinking, how do I know if I need help? Well, with Quitter's free porn addiction quiz, you can see how your habits compare to the 500,000 men that they have helped overcome their addiction forever. All you have to do is click the link in the description and download the app.
I think the definition of an addiction is when you know something is bad for you, but you continue doing it anyway, right? Like, you become an alcoholic when you know that drinking is bad for you, but you just do it anyway.
App and begin the test. Today is the day you'll stop saying I'll quit tomorrow and regain control before it's too late. Like others before him, Marcus had been sold the dream of finding true love and deliver.
I ain't gonna lie, guys. When I meet a girl and I go on a date, I abstain from watching any lewd material for about 2 days. Just to, get my head in the game, right? Just to, be in the zone.
Delivered as prey. Now, as he was led out of the cab and to his hotel room by Camila, he found himself at the mercy of forces above what he didn't foresee. You see, Camila had actually tried OnlyFans as an escape route when she was younger, but this was way more effective.
It's like overeating. Anyone can overdo it, but in moderation, it's not going to hurt you. Yeah, I think that's a sensible opinion to have. I don't think it's like the Antichrist, like, some red pillars want to say it is, but I do think there's definitely a time to abstain from it.
She was so close to finishing her nursing degree, but without tuition money, she'd have to drop out. Like so many countries targeted by romance tourists, most of the Colombian population is below the poverty line. Not many weeks ago, she created her first dating profile and joined a different kind of pipeline, a network of women targeting gringos. Not always American. for any foreigner with hard currency who was naive enough to really believe they'd found true love. So here's what's really happening while you're watching these glossy, perfect
Ooh, some of these girls, man.
influencer videos showing Colombia and other dangerous countries in a similar way. Local networks are working and studying these men who
I can see how guys I can see how guys get bamboozled. I see the appeal.
deliver
I
these
get
dreams.
it. I get it.
They want you to believe in an image so that they can milk you. The system for exploiting men on the ground in places like Colombia has evolved around the same time as the male loneliness epidemic, the one that these influencers get paid from. While online opportunities cultivated men like Marcus for months, local networks had learned to position themselves at the end of that pipeline, ready to extract their own value. In Colombia, some women work alone, others with gangs.
Just see these guys.
Colombia, some women work alone, others with gangs.
Obviously, like, she's like the face of the operation. She's just like she's the bait, right? But these three are like the brains behind the operation, right?
Gangs. Journalists in Medellin have even uncovered gang bosses like the so-called Queen of Scopolamine, a serial killer who killed between 5 to 6 men. Although according
Jesus. Fucking hell. Why do I have to kill them? Like, okay, if I was in this situation, I'd be like, okay, you got me. I'm scopolamine. I'm this, like, NPC zombie guy for, like, the next 7 days. Whatever. Go on, take my wallet, my phone. Just get it over with. But you don't have to kill me. Come on.
to her court testimony, there were a considerable amount of others. Now, of course, Colombian authorities are aware of this problem, but they're overwhelmed. In a city with more than 25,000 reported robberies annually, only a fraction ever lead to arrests, and most of the time, nobody's talking to the police, they're completely corrupt. But that's not the point. Why are these men coming here in the first place? What is pushing them here? Is dating that bad in the West now that we need to find other poor countries where we can find...
Well, I think we reviewed a guy on Tinder who swiped right 2 million times. He was an average looking dude, and he got one date. He went on one physical date with a woman. He swiped 2 million times. And in that date, he didn't get laid. So yeah, I'd say things are pretty grim for the average guy in the West. The dating economy is just ridiculous.
Finally feel validated and actually find true love? What this shows is what's lacking in men today in the West, that they feel so...
Average is a stretch. He was sub 5 at best. This dude here, he swiped right 2 million times. I understand why you're saying he's sub 5. I understand why you think he is below a 5, right? But he's still average. You walk past guys that look like this every day. You just don't really think about them, right? This is your truck driver, your Uber Eats, delivery guy. You walk past this guy 100 times a day. People that look like that. He is an average guy. He may be below a sub 5 in this spectrum of how women respond, but he is an average guy. Does that make sense?
Compelled to go to dangerous countries like these to find love, all because the people they interact with in their own countries seems to always reject them, or just be people they can't have any real connection with. Because this isn't just happening in Medellin, but it's also now starting to happen in many other cities around the world,
Please don't say Bangkok.
These Western tourists from Manila to Bangkok. So
Scopolamine's coming to Bangkok. Oh man, it's over. It's over.
cracking down too hard on the very image of warm hospitality is a complicated business. Even Camila, who's stuck in this web just like Marcus, as she's had to grow up in a country ravaged by drug cartels and
Bangkok sells over. How do you even avoid this? Okay, let's talk real here. Let's talk game plan. How do you avoid this from happening? So it's like this white powder you throw it in someone's face, and then you just like become this zombie, right? Or it gets rubbed on your chest. So how do you defend yourself against this? Like, I don't understand how you can even like combat this, because it seems like you're kind of just fucked. Like, if this happens to you, like you're just on a date, you take her back to your apartment, and then she just like rubs your face, and you're like, yeah, what did you do? And then it's over. Like, how do you defend yourself against this? Speak the local language and have common sense. Wear a suit. A hazmat suit. Yeah, I guess so, right? I guess so. If I wear a hazmat suit, I'm sure Chad can get away with going on a date in a hazmat suit, but maybe not me. Maybe not me. Like, in all seriousness, I think, you kind of have to trust your fucking instinct. Like, if a girl just seems sketchy in some vague way, I guess you gotta just bail. You gotta just bail. It seems like or I guess if it seems like she's not physically attracted to you, but she still wants to go to your apartment, like she's not really giving you like sincere choosing signals that you can feel, but she says that she wants to go to your place. I suppose I suppose that might be enough to sketch you out. But I'm just armchair philosophizing here. Like, if let's be real, in like the real world where you have like some sub 5 guy dating some hot 8 out of 10 woman that wants to go to his apartment, he's gonna go along with it. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
Obviously in a third world bad situation. She realized she would make a year's wage in a night if she performed the fantasy people like Marcus had built before stepping off the plane. And of course, it's just business for these people, executing a usual strategy, walking Marcus to numerous ATMs to get money out for what she told him repeatedly was more drinks, walking back to his hotel room, plastering him with more drinks to keep him compliant as she systematically ransacked his room. She then coerced him into opening his safe to access his passport and
Coerced him? How do you I guess just like being violent with someone until they relent.
rummaged through his belongings for anything with any semblance of resale value, while Marcus spent most of the time slurring.
Oh man, it's over. You could take this screen capture and make it a meme and just put "it's over" above this image.
And flopping around on the floor between being sick. Then, after locking him away helplessly in a wrecked room, she left to pay some of her bosses, as you can't do many of these things without others noticing and demanding their cut. But the fact that this is even an industry in the first place is really an indictment to how bad dating must be in the West. If people are going to obviously dangerous
bad, man, it's bad.
Countries to do this sort of thing, and it's so common that there's now an entire criminal economy around this stuff, shows there must be some issue at home if so many guys are falling into this trap. The modern dating crisis and the growing loneliness epidemic are quietly leading to more and more of these cases. Faced with rejection, social isolation, and a collapsing sense of purpose in the West, many men are just fleeing to these countries where dating feels more traditional, connection more accessible, and finally gaining
traditional. Imagine going to Colombia for more traditional, normal dating, and you get scoped. You get scoped, bro. You lost your kidney. You got scoped. It's not very traditional. It's not very traditional.
A sense of love, spurred on by influences creating this echo chamber and this illusion that it's just impossible to find love in the West anymore. And in doing so, this is creating a global issue that's only getting so much worse. In Brazil, the US consulate in Rio recently issued a warning about drugging dating scams targeting tourists. Criminals seduce foreign men, slip sedatives into their drinks, then lose them and rob them in hotel rooms. We also see this in Bangkok and Bali, the same devil.
Man, my place. Oh man, why has it got to be the place I like? Why does scopolamine have to come to my place?
Breath style scams, where victims are stumbling around like zombies, being completely controlled, their cards maxed out, and sometimes even overdose deaths. Medellin is just the.
I know this isn't really a solution, but I guess just not have much money on your cards. I guess. That's not really a solution, is it? I'm just trying to like think about how you can like protect yourself from this happening. And I don't think there really is a solution. Because it's not like a scam which you can just obviously, you know, take a step to protect yourself from. The only thing is, you know, if you're an ugly man and there's an 8 out of 10 woman that seems to be really keen on coming to your apartment, I guess that's it. You got to just be like, okay, there's something up. There's some transactional thing going on. There's some red flag here. That's it. That's the only thing you can really go off.
Most visible example, with 8 Americans vanished at once in late 2023, bringing the total to
Imagine someone drugs you and you have like $10 on you. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
29 deaths in recent years. It's so bad that even Tinder now has to place warnings on the app. On Facebook, we can see
Really? Is it a romance scam? Spot a crypto or get rich quick scheme. Get to know the real them first. Bro, Tinder ain't doing shit. Let's be real. This ain't doing shit. This is just virtue signaling. This is just getting their good points up. It's just a load of shit.
place warnings on the app. On Facebook, we can see a private scopolamine victims group that has more than 5,000 members sharing stories and lookouts. Thousands more.
Philippines ban if Thailand is fucked. Well, I don't think Thailand is fucked. I haven't heard or encountered anything like this when I was in Thailand. I have been to Philippines, and I gotta say, I had some problems in Philippines, but not to do with scopolamine or women. Just in like, I just didn't enjoy living there. But maybe that's a story for
More
another
warning
day.
about this on the Passport Bros Reddit itself. And while most survive, living with this kind of experience would be difficult for anyone, especially those most lonely and unloved. And now, staring at the ceiling of his own flat rather than a hotel room, Marcus is learning the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes when you think you're the customer, you're actually the product just being sold.
Ooh. Bars. This was a great video. I love the editing. I love the ambience, the music. Very good.